everyone, welcome to our channel where my dad and I play games, old and new, and give our thoughts on how they appeal to different generations.
Today we are continuing our journey through the Final Fantasy franchise with Final Fantasy V. I've dabbled with this a bit in the past, but I always get pulled away before I can get too far in. And now, with the boys' help, it's time to finally remedy that. So, let's take a dive in and see if this is a hidden gem or if I really haven't been missing too much. So one day, Bart's just trying to enjoy his journey, is surprised when a meteorite crashes to the ground. Upon investigation, he meets Lena, a princess of Tycoon, in search of her father and for answers as to why the wind is stopping, and Gloof, an old amnesiac. They are quickly joined by the pirate Ferris as they discover the crystals that govern the elements are shattering, each crystal granting more and more power to them, while the sinister plot of the warlock Exdeath continues to unfold around them. This is one story I've gleaned like bits and pieces from other games, mostly the City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, and several elements I thought sounded absolutely ridiculous actually made sense in context. Exdeath felt a bit underdeveloped as a villain, but he was suitable. I really enjoyed the exploration of the world, each area felt lively and unique. That said, for a game that took us about 22 hours to get through, the story was more than enough.
Final Fantasy V has a smaller cast of characters, focusing mainly on our 5 heroes. Bart's the boy who's just wandering wherever the wind takes him, Lena, the princess of Tycoon, Ferris the pirate, Galoof the goofy old man, and his granddaughter Kryl. Mixed in are Exodus and a small cast of fun characters like Sid, Mid, the Warriors of Dawn, and a surprisingly hilarious Gilgamesh. I really loved Bart's. I thought he was a pretty interesting character. I really liked how of all the things he could be worried about, like his parents that died, his town that got sucked up into the void, and out of all of these things, he's most concerned about the chicken. Don't get me wrong, chocobos are awesome, but dude, you have some bigger problems to worry about. I also appreciated how, unlike most main characters that are like, oh look, the end of the world, probably should do something about that, Bart just likes to wander around and explore. It's a different take and I liked it. Also, of the now 5 Final Fantasy games I've played, Bart's is by far the funniest. He's a big goofball, and I love that the game doesn't take itself too seriously.
Bart is hilarious. I really enjoyed that. Now, while he is the main character of the game, for me, Lena was the standout. I really enjoyed how she was bold and fearless, yet understood her limitations. As a character, she's incredibly kind and gentle. Several times, she endangers herself to aid others, like when she ingests poison to get the trust of a windrake so it will take its medicine. There's something very charming about a character that can express great kindness without coming off as weak or goofy. As is standard with this era of Final Fantasy, 5 is a turn-based RPG with a large open world. Random encounters spring up as you explore various overworlds and dungeons. It's a very straightforward approach, but it's livened up by some wonderful humor. Final Fantasy, in my opinion, tends to take itself overly serious, with a few exceptions with each game. 5, however, bucks that trend entirely by, as the boy mentioned, poking fun at itself and its characters frequently. The humor really made the world and the characters just feel more alive for me.
I agree. The job systems also help with that. Much like in 3, you get access to different jobs as the game goes on. Unlike 3, however, the jobs aren't direct upgrades of each other. Instead, each offers different actions or passives that can be mixed and matched. It led to a lot of customization and creativity. Like, want to have a summoner black mage that can dual cast everything? You can do that. Want to have a dual wielding samurai that hits 8 times? Go for it. The classes also felt really varied, from the time mage to the blue mage, even a useless class like the dancer. There's a lot of options, but I really thought it was funny that the last job you unlock is just a copycat mime. It's super powerful and also really unique. It can break things though, like having a samurai use Zenage and then mimic it, and you're chucking gil at everything for like 20,000 damage. The graphics were good. I liked how it was similar to the other Final Fantasies. Some monster designs were a bit weird though, like Gilgamesh, who morphs from a giant swordsman to a multi-armed maniac with every conceivable weapon. Monster designs aside, this looked a lot like Final Fantasy IV, but just a bit cleaned up, which is what you'd expect as a game that continues to iterate on the formula. I love the pixel art and just can't get enough of it. Yet they still found a way to inject emotion and personality onto the simple sprites.
So in our Final Fantasy IV video, I mentioned that the music just didn't stick with me, which is a rare miss for Final Fantasy. Boy, did this one turn it around. As I said, I hadn't beaten or really even gotten that far into 5 before, but the music here is so good. It's whimsical and upbeat in general, yet at times it drops low and sweet, usually when it involves Lena or Kryl. Square almost always crushes it with the music, and you really hear it here. As much as I love Final Fantasy in general, I have to admit, I was surprised at how much I loved the music here.
I really liked the humor of the game. It's funny, really funny. The Chocobo is running around waking everybody up. Galoof is making fun of Bart because Bart thinks Lena is hot. I also like the little details, like how the characters actually wake each other up instead of them all just waking at the same time. I enjoyed the job system in Final Fantasy III, and I felt like they upgraded it wonderfully here. Lots of customization, classes felt unique, and it didn't feel like making somebody a monk late game was a waste.
Yeah, I agree, son. This one surprised me. As I mentioned, I've played 5 before, but never gotten very far into it. But man, I'm glad we had a chance to dive back into this. I did find it a bit easier than I'd like, but the humor, music, and wonderful characters really impressed me. It's games like this that remind me what I love about gaming. Fun escapism, charming characters, big worlds with lots of secrets.
True, it was a really charming game. So I'm going to give Final Fantasy V an 8 out of 10. This was a really fun game, and I don't know if it was a product of its time, but a lot of the character designs reminded me of older games. Like, if you turn Bartz into a Dragoon, he looks just like Kain. Or Kryl as a white mage looks like a devout from Final Fantasy III. Nice little details that help tie the series together. Also, the baby Chocobo are freaking adorable!
Wow, I think that makes this your highest rated Final Fantasy game yet, son. But I have to agree with you. This game surprised me. I've heard good things about it, and honestly, I regret not beating it before now. I'm actually going to go a bit higher than you. I'm going to go an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this game, far more than I thought I would. It was a bit on the easy side for me. Exdeath, while cool, lacked any complexity as a villain, and some of the jobs were more or less completely useless. But all things considered, this is a fantastic entry, and I really hope more people give it a go.
So those are our thoughts on Final Fantasy V. Were you able to escape the void, or did you find yourself stuck in a tree? Whatever your thoughts, let us know. And as always, please support us with a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks everyone!